The conversation makes it clear that the marriage is in a pretty bad shape. The characters appear to be neurotics. My nerves are bad tonight. It seems that the woman has suffered a nervous breakdown. It may be pointed out that T.S. Eliot himself was recovering from a nervous breakdown while writing The Wasteland. There is very little meaningful communication between the spouses. The husband appears to be an overthinking character. One gets the picture of a marriage that has almost completely broken down. I think we are in Rat's Alley where the dead men lost their bones. The passage invites comparison with the opening lines of The Hollow Men of T.S. Eliot. I quote, "We are the hollow men. We are the stuffed men, leaning together, headpiece filled with straw." Unquote. A noise is heard. It is the wind. It is the wind under the door. What is the wind doing? Nothing. The woman complains that the man knows nothing. He sees nothing. And what does he remember? Nothing. Then the famous line from The Tempest is quoted. Those are pearls that were his eyes. Why does T.S. Eliot quote this line? An entire essay can be written on why Eliot quotes this famous line from The Tempest of Shakespeare, of William Shakespeare, not once but twice in The Wasteland. I most certainly will not attempt that essay, but I shall point out a topical significance, a local importance of this line. This line is taken from Ariel's song in 1-2 of The Tempest. Full fathom fi thy father lies. That's how the song begins. Those are pearls that were his eyes. The importance of the line within the framework, within the thematic framework, within the structural framework of The Wasteland is that T.S. Eliot has embedded the text of The Wasteland with numerous quotations, references, and allusions. And these numerous quotations, references, and allusions have expanded immensely in their value as a result of being embedded in the text of The Wasteland. Those are pearls that were his eyes. The quotations, references, and allusions have gained enormously in their significance, in their value, as a result of being positioned within the text of The Wasteland. Cleanth Brooks writes that not just life is devoid of meaning to the wastelanders. Death itself has become devoid of meaning to them. When pressed to speak by the woman, the man decides to quote Shakespeare. He quotes Shakespeare and I quote him. Those are pearls that were his eyes. The woman is disappointed that the man quotes Shakespeare instead of opening up his heart to her. She is upset that the man quotes a line from The Tempest as his response to her complaint that he does not speak to her. And she retorts that Shakespearean rag. It is nothing but a rag. It is nothing but trash. It is nothing but worthless. I think that the woman's response is quite justifiable. Shakespeare is read very often, referred to very often, quoted from very often, alluded to very often. And this particular quotation is something of a cliche. It is certainly a Shakespearean rag, that Shakespearean rag. It's a piece of old cloth, especially a piece of old cloth which has been torn from a larger cloth. That precisely is what this quotation is from the point of view of the woman. A North Indian student once told me, "Sir, you have got it all wrong. It is not that Shakespearean rag, but that Shakespearean rag." Rag is one of the 6 basic musical modes in Indian classical music, what in South India is known as raga. I said, this is a very original interpretation. You should write a paper on it. The passage seems to be an allusion to that Shakespearean rag, a very popular song by Jean Buck and Herman Ruby, published about a decade before The Wasteland. The song contains the following lines. I quote, "That Shakespearean rag, most intelligent, very elegant, that old classical drag," unquote. It is clear that T.S. Eliot had the song in mind while writing the lines. Besides, Eliot uses the rather unusual spelling of Shakespearean preferred by Jean Buck and Herman Ruby, as if to confirm that there is indeed an allusion to the song in the passage under discussion. The lines that follow capture graphically the utter meaninglessness of the life of the rich and famous. Poignant questions are asked. Painful questions are asked. What shall I do now? What shall I do? What shall we ever do? There is money, there is time, but there is nothing useful to be done. The high points of the life are identified. The hot water at 10, the closed car at 4, a game of chess, waiting for a knock upon the door. I would like to say something about the last of these, waiting for a knock upon the door. They are expecting something unexpected to happen. They want a change. They want a deviation. But the problem is that in such a life, the unexpected can only be expected. It can never happen. It can never actually happen. One of the high points of the life of the couple is a game of chess. This game of chess strengthens the justification of the title of the section. If you are asked to explain the title of the section, a game of chess, you must necessarily speak of the game that is mentioned here. I would like to point out that there is a 17th century play by Thomas Middleton titled A Game of Chess. The play has very high political content, and the play was at one point of time banned in England. Early in my class, I spoke of how a game of chess can be a cover for seduction. A game of chess can be a metaphor for seduction. And here in Thomas Middleton's play, a game of chess becomes a metaphor for international politics, becomes a metaphor for international diplomacy. But the game of chess that is to be played by the couple in this section is only for whiling away the time. It is only a metaphor for boredom. It is only a metaphor for meaninglessness. And we shall play a game of chess. And we shall play a game of chess because we have nothing better to do. You have to work out a contrast between the game of chess played by the woman and the man here and the game of chess, which is a metaphor for seduction, which is a cover for seduction, and a game of chess which is a metaphor for international politics and international diplomacy.